have this vivid memory of sitting in the bathtub one time and just crying.
I think I punched my dad once.
You're not in charge of me right now. Like, you just won't leave me alone.
I had an epidural in my back, so I couldn't move very well.
She just wanted me to keep pushing and keep going.
Everybody had one. Like, if you didn't have one, you were looked down upon.
This is a show where teenagers share their experiences growing up in today's world. I'm your host, Dr. RJ, and this is A Teen's Perspective. Hello and welcome to A Teen's Perspective. I'm your host, Dr. RJ, and today's guest, I have a 16-year-old sophomore who's going to share her experience with growing up without a dad. But before I introduce my guest, she is a minor, so we need to come up with a name for you. So if you were a superhero, what name would you want to be?
I think I would have to be Superwoman.
Superwoman, I like it. And would you want to keep her superpower or you would want a different one?
I would definitely want to have my own power.
And what would that be?
Being able to help others and maybe be able to read their minds and their perspective of things.
I like that. That's a good one. All right, perfect. So let's welcome Superwoman to the show. So let's start off with growing up, because you want to share with the audience about how it was growing up without a dad. So talk to us about as early as you can remember.
Growing up, I've always had my grandfather and my grandmother and my mom and my uncle always around me, helping my mom, always babysitting me and watching me. And I felt kind of odd always being the child that didn't have the father on Father's Day. It was always my grandfather. In Girl Scout trips, it was always my grandfather coming with me to the father-daughter dance and stepping in. It was different. My grandfather is quite obviously older than my mother and everyone else's father around me. So it was different always being picked on because I didn't have a father, but I was able to overcome that.
And at what age do you remember?
I was about 7 or 8.
Okay, so you have pretty clear memories when you're 7 about noticing that everyone else that would come to those events and yours did not. How did you feel experiencing that?
I definitely felt left out, and I definitely felt different from everyone else.
Now, did kids actually say something about it? Or?
Definitely.
Really?
It was always a center of attention when it came to events when parents were supposed to be there.
And was it, they were more asking questions, or was it more just trying to make fun of you?
A mix of both. The people that I was close with and the people that I was surrounding myself with every day were more worried and willing to have their parents step in for mine. But other kids that I didn't surround myself with were more on the bullying side of it.
Oh, I see. Can you share with us about your dad?
Well, there's not much to talk about. He is a parent when he wants to be.
Okay, so you know who your father is. It's just that he just was not around as much.
Definitely.
So describe you guys' relationship.
In my opinion, he is a man that I know I am related to, but in my eyes, he is just a family member. I don't call him dad. When I talk to him, I really don't address him. I just say, hey, or something.
So describe the dynamic of how your mom and your dad split, or how did that whole situation work out?
Well, they weren't necessarily ever together. That was a problem.
Oh, okay. So they were never in a relationship.
Yeah.
And was he ever involved at all in the picture?
Not really, no. He dropped in when he wanted to. As soon as he appeared, he left.
Wow. And so you guys did not keep in touch regularly on the phone or anything like that?
He has my number, but not really. I went, I believe, a 7-year span without seeing or speaking to him.
After that 7 years, he just randomly called one day?
He texted, and it was really different.
And what encouraged him to text you 7 years later?
I have no idea. Maybe guilt.
And how is your relationship today?
It's getting better. It could be a lot better, but it's progressive. It's getting there.
Oh, that's great. So it sounds like, you're open to having a relationship.
Definitely.
So what do you think is the reason he's just not around as much?
I'm not sure. I have thought about that, and I've tried to figure it out on my own, but I figured that that's something that I will ask when I feel is appropriate or when I'm ready to know.
So now it's more so you guys, he texts you, he calls. Does he pick you up and take you places or anything like that?
So at the end of the summer, he asked me if I needed anything for school. And I thought that was my opportunity to see my dad because I haven't seen him before that. It was about 2 years. So I thought that was a good opportunity to see my dad. I was like, oh yeah, I want to go shopping. And so he came and he got me and we went shopping in San Marcos.
Okay. How was that?
It was different. It was very awkward, but it was fun and it was good.
So describe your experience when you're hanging out with your dad. Like you haven't seen him for 2 years. He picks you up. Like, just walk us through that experience.
It was very different. Getting in the car with him, it was almost like getting in the car with a stranger or a distant family member that you are related to, but you haven't seen in a while. Driving with him was quite awkward because we didn't really talk and his driving isn't the best. And he was on his phone a lot of the time.
So there's a lot of those like awkward silences where just, no one's saying anything.
Asking awkward questions in between the silence. Definitely.
And which grade was this when you say you're about 7 years old when you recognize like, wait a minute, everyone else has a dad and I don't have a dad here. What age did it really start to bother you where you noticed that you were hurt and really sad about it?
I would say between first and second grade.
And what helped you start to be okay with the situation?
My grandfather has always stepped in for my dad. And so he made it very, very easy for me to feel accepted and to feel normal. And I did a little bit of research and I watched a movie. And in the movie, there was a speech given to a girl, a small child, and she was told that she wasn't missing out on life, that her father was missing out on hers.
Wow. So that speech in that movie really impacted you where you're like...
Definitely. And I encourage other people to watch the movie that are going through a situation similar to mine.
After that, you just felt better about your part of it, as far as you continuing on?
Definitely. It helped me realize that it was okay to be different and that it was okay to not have a full family. It was okay for it just to be me and my mom on our own.
So describe the relationship with you and your mom.
Me and my mom, we do have a close relationship. It could be a lot better, but it is better than some others.
So talk to me about how was it growing up? Because your mom is young, right? So your grandparents had to step in a lot because your mom was still in school?
Yes. My mom left college because she graduated a year early. So she was 21 and she was able to step out of college and financially raise me and physically. And my grandparents helped her when it came to babysitting when she was at work and things like that. And once I was a little older, my mom was talking to me about going back to college and getting her degree, and I encouraged it. And my grandparents would continue to watch me when she went to school at night and work during the day.
What grade were you in at that time?
I want to say about third grade.
Oh, okay. So she went back when you were in third grade. And you remember just kind of being supportive for her going back?
Definitely. I was staying up with her. Mommy, do you need help with your math and things like that?
Awesome. So now you're in middle school. So talk to me about middle school, because it seems like for most kids, middle school is the hardest transition that they will face. So share with us something about middle school.
Middle school was very different. I came from a very structured school to one that wasn't as structured. I came from a charter school into a public school. It was very different. I came back to a town that I was born and raised in, and I knew a lot of people, but at the same time, those same people changed. They weren't the same people from second grade that played with me on the playset, and now they're older and mature somewhat.
And what did you notice was the biggest difference between the charter and the public school?
I would definitely say the rules. It was a lot more lax. The teachers weren't as strict. Kids were able to get away with a lot more of everything.
So give me an example.
Turning in work from the charter school, it wasn't an option. Everything got turned in. With public school, it was like, oh, you didn't turn it in? Okay, there's your 0. And that was it.
Wow. When you're thinking about middle school, like what other challenges did you face?
Ooh, I was a short kid. I was a short and fat kid. And I had a lot of friends. Everybody knew me. I knew everyone. But I kept myself distanced from everyone.
Why did you do that?
I felt like I would do better on my own. I felt like I would grow more without people in my way and becoming distractions.
So in middle school, you did not have any really close friends?
No, I believe I had a group of like 5 people that I talked to every day, and that was it.
Now, how close were the 5 of you?
We were very close until some of us matured faster than others and some of us moved.
Oh, I see. And you guys remained friends throughout middle school?
Not really. Majority of us split up except for one person, and we're still friends till this day. We're best
that's
friends.
Cool. That's awesome. So talk to me about the transition from middle school to high school.
It was big and it was important. It was me seeing the world. It was me seeing that I'm about to be on my own. Not necessarily on my own, but reality is coming. That was my big eye-opener.
And what were you and your mom because I know she went back to school at 3rd grade. What age were you when she graduated?
I want to say 4th or 5th grade, somewhere in between there.
Okay. And then after that, she was just working and been home with you?
Yes.
Okay. So walk me through the progression of you guys' relationship.
Growing up, me and my mom were extremely close. When she would work or be at school at night and my grandma would stay with me, I would sneak in her bed and surprise her when she got home. And then I'd sleep with her until it was time for us to get up and me to go to school and her to go to work.
Oh, that was cool. And then how did that change in middle school?
I stopped sleeping with her as often. I started doing different things to show her that I appreciated her and I loved her. I would leave little sticky notes around the house, just leave them on her pillow, saying I hope she had a good night and don't let the bug bugs bite and things all around the house.
That's awesome. How do you feel about your mom and what she's been able to achieve basically raising you by herself? I mean, I know she had help from the grandparents and all that, but what are your feelings towards that?
I am definitely proud of my mom. I want to show her that she did everything perfectly, that she raised me right, and that I can help her the way she helped me in a way.
So you're in high school now. What are some of your biggest interests?
I'm definitely interested in boys and college. I'm extremely ready for college.
Okay, so when did the whole liking boys start?
Oh, that was in middle school.
Oh, middle school. So did you have a boyfriend then?
I did, and then we broke up.
Was it like serious or is it one of those?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. And now do you have a boyfriend?
I do.
Oh, okay. So when you said I do, you smiled. You had a big grin on your face. So I'm assuming this one is serious?
Yes, I would agree. I believe it's serious.
And how long have you guys been dating?
This month will make 3 months.
Oh, cool. And talk to us how you guys met.
Well, freshman year, we had our agriculture class together, and we would always tease each other and throw paper across the room. This year, we became friends. We had agriculture again together, and we started talking more, and we were in a group of friends, and we were in a group chat, and we started texting individually, and it just went from there.
When did you notice that you liked him?
It was probably like the 4th week of school.
Oh, okay, so this is before you guys were throwing paper at each other?
No, this was after. This is this year, my sophomore year.
Oh, okay. So you guys were throwing paper at each other, and then at that point, you're like, I don't really see anything in this guy, and then after hanging out more. That's awesome. How did that happen? You guys in a group chat, and then all of a sudden you started like chatting each other.
He texted me an iMessage game, and we just kept playing iMessage games, and then a conversation started.
iMessage game? What do you mean?
On iPhones, you can play games between 2 people in a...
I have an iPhone. I didn't know that. There's games you can play on the iPhone?
Yes.
And it's like part of the texting?
Yes.
How do you find that? I didn't know. Oh, man, I didn't even know you could play games on that. He basically just kind of invited you to play a game, and then it led to the texting?
Yes.
So talk to me about social media. So how has social media impacted or influenced you from middle school to high school?
Well, I am not allowed to have social media.
Oh, okay. So talk to us about that.
It's rough. I'm always late on everything. But my 2 best friends, they definitely keep me in the loop. They're like, oh my gosh, guess what just happened? So, yeah.
So when did you request to have social media, and when was it denied?
6th grade, and the same day I asked, like right after I asked, it was an automatic no.
And did you ask again?
I did constantly, and then I just realized that it just wasn't going to happen.
So you're 16, you have 0 social media.
Yes.
You're probably like the first 16-year-old I met with like 0 social media.
I did have social media, but I stopped using it because I got caught.
Whoa, tell us about that. What happened?
I believe I was grounded from my phone, and I had a tablet that my great grandmother had given me. And I was texting someone, and my mom was home off of social media. And she came up the stairs, and I heard her. So I tried to hide it and act like nothing was happening. But my mom knew something was wrong. So she was like, "What are you doing?" And then she figured it out.
How did she know you were doing something?
I was probably looking at her a certain way or like giggling.
Oh, I see. So when your phone, she took your phone, right, from a different something else. And before that, you never had social media.
No.
So then you got a tablet and you're like, oh, I'm going to try to download. And which one did you go for?
Snapchat.
So then you're like snapping your friends and all that. And then she came upstairs, you hid the tablet, and she knew something was wrong?
Yeah, she knew I was doing something I shouldn't be doing.
What was your response when she asked you, what are you doing?
Nothing, Mom. I'm not doing anything. That was my exact response.
And what did she say?
Mm-hmm. And then she was like, so what were you really doing?
And then you told her?
No, she found the tablet. And then apparently everybody wanted to respond and say hi. And so I had a bunch of notifications. I believe it was like 40 or something, just coming back to back in like 5 minutes. It was
Wow.
terrible.
So then you knew for sure after that, there's no social media really.
I really only used social media once I had gotten grounded. And so I think in my freshman year, I was on social media again, and I got into an argument with a friend, and she told her mom that we were in an argument on social media, and her mom told mine.
Are the two moms friends?
We played select volleyball together, and so we were rides with each other, and our parents helped out with each other.
Oh, so it came up in like a random conversation?
I think it was more intentional, but
Oh, I see. Because she knew that you were not supposed to be on it. Oh, man. Yep. You mentioned select volleyball. How long have you been playing?
I only played my freshman year. I'm not playing this year.
Okay, so what sports are you pursuing?
Right now, just volleyball, hopefully track this year. And next year, I want to do volleyball, track, basketball, tennis, and possibly powerlifting.
Wow, you want to do everything, huh?
Definitely.
So what is motivating you to take on so much?
A letterman. I want every patch I can possibly get.
Oh, that's cool.
And I do love playing sports. Keeps me busy and active.
Let's switch gears. Usually what I'm hearing when it comes to dating is that it can interfere with relationships like your best friends. Have you noticed that happen with, in the 3 months you guys have been dating?
Yes and no. My best friend, I have two. One lives in Kansas and the other lives near me. The one that lives closer to me, she is at my house all the time, often, at least 3 times a week, spending the night. So at school, our relationship has changed. We no longer walk each other to class. Now I'm walking with him, but we play the same sports. So we definitely are together a lot.
So you guys still have a strong relationship?
Definitely.
Okay, that's awesome. So what was your mom's reaction when she found out that you were dating?
I told her. I was like, hey, Mom, there's this dude that I like, and yeah, I think we're going to start dating soon. She was like, oh, because, yeah.
Oh, okay, so she was okay with it?
No.
Oh, she's not okay
No.
with it?
I am her only child, and she's not ready for me to date.
Since you're still dating, it sounds like she's allowing you to do it.
She is allowing me to do it. I wouldn't say she's happy about it.
So she's not like trying to meet him and get to know him and all that?
Not necessarily.
I mean, have you told your dad about dating?
He asked me a question about it when he came to pick me up to go shopping, but at the time I wasn't dating anyone, but I told him that I have dated in the past. But yeah, that was the end of that conversation.
Okay. What I'm seeing now in the news and everything else is high schoolers involved in drugs and alcohol.
It is terrible.
So share with us your experience with that.
Drugs and alcohol in the school system, it's gotten terrible. It's gotten to the point to where a student, if you know the right person, you can just ask them to buy anything that you want. And it can be any drug, any alcohol. You just have to know the right person and you'll be able to get it.
Is it a couple students that just have this kind of connection? And if it is the case, why haven't the school pulled the student aside and looked into it?
I believe that it was their upbringing. They were raised around those circumstances and they're carrying it on. And there's more than just a few students. It's plenty of them. And I'm sure that the principals know about some of them, but I don't believe they know about all of them.
Are they supplying it more as like a dealer or they're trying to, make profit from it? Or is it more so, oh, we're just friends. Let me try to give you whatever you want?
I would definitely say a mix of both, but I believe more of a dealer type situation.
Wow. What are some of the things that you're seeing?
Going into the hallway, there's people standing outside the restrooms looking throughout the hallways, looking for teachers. And that's how I know something's going on in the restroom that shouldn't be happening.
What types of drugs are you hearing about?
Definitely vaping pens, Juuls, of course, marijuana, and any other drug of choice, Xanax, any type of pills, sometimes harder drugs.
And this is happening at school?
Not necessarily all at school, but I do know it's definitely happening within my age group and in town.
I'm hearing a lot about vaping in school. Do you guys see that much in school?
Definitely. It's ridiculous. You can't even go to the restroom without, hearing people laugh and giggle and then jackets flying around trying to fan the smoke out and things of that sort.
So what do you think has helped you not get involved with those things?
I would definitely say sports and the way I was raised. My mom didn't raise me to do things like that. And if I'm going to do something that I shouldn't be doing, not to put myself in a situation to where I can get in trouble. I can get in bigger trouble than with just her.
Have you felt any kind of peer pressure to do those things?
Definitely, but I stand strong on my morals.
That's awesome. The final thing I want to chat with you about is this idea of life after high school, whether to go to college or not to go to college and work. What are some of the thoughts that you're having towards that?
I have always wanted to go to college. It's never been a second choice for me. My mom has always asked me what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do with my life. And ever since I was little, probably in kindergarten, I've always known that I was going to go to college and I was going to do something. I was going to make a life for myself.
What career path are you thinking about?
I'm definitely going to be a veterinarian.
Oh, wow. So you already know exactly which direction you want to go. So talk to us about like when you first discovered that you were interested in that.
I was born and raised around horses. I was raised around at least 30 horses.
Really?
Yes. I was picked up from preschool with a stallion in a trailer. I was a close kid.
So you know how to ride horses?
Yes.
Wow. So share with me your relationship with these horses.
I love animals, and especially my horses. We no longer have many. I believe we're down to 5 right now. I would come home from the bus. I had a bucket on a pole. I'd get the bucket and go sit with my horse and talk to her until it got dark outside, until my mom started calling for me.
Oh, wow. And at that moment, you probably knew, I want to help animals.
Definitely. I always knew either I was going to have 1 million of them or I was going to help them.
That's awesome. So you're a 16-year-old and a sophomore. To be a veterinarian, you definitely have to be, I would say, a great student, right? So at what point does the planning start as far as how you apply yourself so that you can get into a veterinarian school?
I've already taken certain steps. In high school, you have to take 2 years of a foreign language. So in my middle school years, I took my 2 years ahead of time so that once I got into high school, I can go into other classes that can get me ready, such as ag, and I can be in college course classes.
What is your current routine for studying and making sure you're getting good grades?
Some of my classes, I'm not required to study. Some of them, I'm in a business class because I do want to own my own clinic. So that, for me, is more common sense. I necessarily don't have to study for that unless it's a midterm or a large test. And for my core classes, I only really study for my history because that's my college course class.
So what impact do you feel that seeing your mom go to college instilled in you that you wanted to achieve higher education?
She did great. She accomplished every goal that she had set for herself. And that made me think and believe that I can do the same. And I can push myself even further and continue my education after I become a veterinarian.
Are you already starting to look at different schools?
Yes, I want to go to A&M.
Oh, so you already know exactly which school, huh?
And my mom wants me to go to Prairie View.
So your mom wants Prairie View and you want A&M?
Yes.
So say, for instance, you are accepted into both. Which one are you going to choose?
I would probably choose whichever school would accept my college credits.
All right, cool. And have you got a chance to visit either one of them?
I have been to Prairie View's homecomings and 2 homecomings, and that's about it.
Why do you think your mom wants you to go to Prairie View? Is that the school she went to?
Yes, that's the school
okay.
she went.
So that makes sense. So what other steps are you taking to pursue this path for veterinarian school?
My uncle has a dog business, and one of our dogs had a C-section, and the veterinarian allowed me to help with the C-section.
Wow.
And I've done 3 live births, and my first job was milking goats. There was a live birth when I was working one day.
Wow. So you kind of know like this is definitely something you want to do. You've already experienced some of it.
I've been watching TV shows and trying to build a stomach for it and work my way through the things that look hard.
That's awesome. You have a job now, right?
No,
Oh, you don't have a job. Okay.
I can't work during the school year because I'm in harder classes, which come with more homework. So I'm stuck with schooling throughout the school year. And then once the summer comes around, I do plan on getting a job.
So you're in the harder class. Are you talking about like AP classes?
Currently, as a sophomore, we only have 1 AP class, but I chose to take a different college course. It's a history class, but I chose to take a different history class, which is also a college course.
That is so cool that nowadays you could take classes in high school for college. So.
Definitely. And it's helpful. Hopefully, if I get all of my credits throughout my high school career, I should be able to be a sophomore my freshman year in college.
Wow. So you start off as a sophomore.
Yes.
That is awesome. I know we talked a little bit about why I started this podcast. I want to help parents see the life of a teen from their perspective. So what can you share with parents that's listening, something about growing up as a teen in today's world?
I do believe it's a lot different. Peer pressure isn't just in person, it's also on social media. And the social media surrounds you, and the social media gets spread by other students, and a like and a share can change a student's life. I definitely believe.
Perfect. Well, thanks for sharing that. So before I let you go, share with me how you hope to see the future with your father.
I definitely hope that we have a better relationship. I hope that I will be able to see him more often and things of that such.
When it comes to teenagers, coaching is so effective because we use proven techniques that help teens identify goals and develop actionable plans to achieve them. If you're a parent and you want to learn how to use these coaching techniques to coach your own teen, visit us at coachyourteen.com. Superwoman shared her experience growing up without a father in her life. Single parents, please join our Facebook group so that you can share your experience with raising teens. You can find us on our Facebook group by searching A Teen's Perspective. There is much to discuss as it relates to this interview, but what I want to ask the question is, why would a father give up their child? Or why would a mother give up their child? Honestly, I do not know the answer. I have 2 boys and I love them dearly and couldn't imagine being separated from them. The reason I ask this question is because these are the questions your child will ask themselves. When a child doesn't know the answer, they just start guessing. My father doesn't love me. Something's wrong with me. My mom must have done something to make him leave, and so on. So I recommend that parents address this question. So my advice is to only speak in positive terms when sharing with your child about this sensitive topic. Avoid the tendency to speak harshly about the other parent. I know you want to. Just remember, negative words create negative emotions. You do not want your child to harbor these negative emotions long term because it's only going to do more harm. Depending on the age and the personality, your conversation alone may be enough to give your child peace about the fact of growing up without a father. So I recommend sharing in other ways for them to gain understanding of this situation, because in many cases, the conversation is not enough. And in Wonder Girl's case, it was a movie that actually helped her find peace. In the movie, there was a statement that was given that says that she was not missing out on life. Her father was missing out on her life. So that resonated with Wonder Girl. and it helped give her peace. So I recommend that you do the same thing, that you maybe share books. It could be a TV show, it could be music. Just try to find other ways for your child to get the message that it is okay to grow up without a full family. Once your child has made peace with the situation, the next step is for the parents to do the same. That's right, parents, I'm talking to you. You also need to find peace instead of guilt and regret. Well, I hope this interview will help in some way with the relationship between you and your teen. Thank you for listening, and thank you so much for all of your support. Please review, rate, and subscribe, and share with a friend. Once again, I'm your host, Dr. RJ, and this is A Teen's Perspective.